If you're not getting enough leads yet, then don't focus on content, because content is a long-term approach. Look, I get it. Content is extremely powerful because every video is an asset for years. And like over time, it will compound and there will be a steady inflow of leads, like a lot of them basically. And you don't have to do a lot of work for it. So I get why it is attractive. But to get to that point, maybe you will need to spend at least like 6 to 12 months, maybe even like 18 months or maybe even longer. You will need to spend time on consistently uploading videos before you get anything out of it. And like I said, content is an attractive approach, but it is a long-term approach. If you are just starting out and if you're working a 9 to 5, for example, then don't focus on content first. Focus on networking. Networking is a short-term approach. Like I didn't make any content until I like quit my job. I signed pretty much all of my clients from networking, basically. How we will do that, I will, or what the philosophy behind it is, I will tell you in a bit. But you don't need content. You can just do networking. That is the short-term approach on how to get leads, how to get clients, and that alone can easily get you to 10K per month. Then you can quit your job. Then you have a lot more time, and then you can start focusing on content to really build this long-term approach. And like, okay, so basically with networking, I mean hopping on calls. And hopping on calls is extremely important. Because like, first of all, what you will do, what you will get out of it is you will learn a lot. If you hop on calls with like-minded people, you can learn basically something from every one of them, because you are all talking with people from around who have the same interests, who have the same goals, for example. And how to find them? Well, basically through the algorithm, or through like networking. So I would start first with a writing-based platform like School or X or LinkedIn. There it is really easy to find like-minded people with the same goals and interests that you have. And once you find those like-minded people and you hop on calls with them, you will learn so much, because you will hop on calls with people ahead of you. They will literally give you like free advice, free tips on how to navigate this journey. For example, you can you can hop on calls with the people on the same level as you are, and all of these people have something interesting. They have learned some things, they've went through some challenges, they've solved some problems, and you can learn from that. And from the people who are behind you, you can teach those people. And what happens is, teaching, you will also learn from teaching, because teaching, it lets you discover gaps in your own knowledge. So this is the first point from calls. You will learn a lot. Second, also really important, is you will gather data. And this data, it is literally like the market research that you will do. You will talk to people, and people will exactly tell you what their problems are, what questions they have, what they are struggling with. And this is invaluable, because those people are your ideal leads. Like, if you ask your mom, like, what is your current situation, desired situation, it doesn't help, because she is not your ideal lead who you want to get. But when you hop on calls with like-minded people, those are the people, and when they mention problems or when they have questions, this data is extremely valuable. So that is the second thing. The third thing is you will get opportunities. I don't know if you write it like that, but opportunities, because like when I hopped on a lot of calls. I hopped on like 300 calls in the past 2 years, and it was honestly like the most high leverage thing that I could have done because of these three things. And for the opportunities, what opportunities did I get, like specifically? Well, I connected with the people who could help me, like my mentors. I hired mentors because I hopped on calls with them, because I thought, oh, this is exactly what they need. Like I the this is this okay, so here, the global trust, you might recognize this for yourself, but global trust is at an all-time low. Coaching and mentoring and online products and online coaching, online things, they don't really have a good brand. When you ask people around, in your network, for example, but in your real life network for your friends, they think it's a scam. And like, they have a good reason to think that, because there are a lot of bad actors, there are a lot of liars, there are a lot of frauds, there are a lot of fakes basically. So who could blame them? So I was very skeptical as well when I first started exploring this online space, and I didn't bought anything for like such a long time, because I got scammed a few times, not necessarily with the online products, but with other things and stuff like that. So I was very skeptical, and the only way that I could trust someone as a mentor is if they proven to me that they could help me solve my problem. So I hopped on calls with them, and they told me exactly what problems I had, what blind spots I had, what bottlenecks I had, and how to solve it. And when they told me that, I got this sense of like clarity. And when I hop on calls with other people who I help now, they experience the same. They experience this clarity. Oh, this is amazing. I know exactly what to do now. And that builds trust. So I hired mentors, by hopping on calls with them, by networking with them. And it is basically has been, I wouldn't be where I am right now, if it wasn't for the mentors, because like stuff like sales, stuff like creating an offer, stuff like getting leads, for example, exactly what I'm telling you right now, it is very nuanced, and you won't know what to do when somebody doesn't tell you, even though it is really simple. Even though you think like, oh, I could have come up with it myself, but come up with it yourself, it is really difficult. So the opportunities to first learn, but also of course to get clients. I helped 15 around that clients so far, and all of them I got pretty much through networking, through connecting with them and just helping them for free, like building their trust, just accurately diagnosing what their problem is, what their bottleneck is, and then exactly telling them how to solve it. And then I literally tell them, like, like, I will give you the exact roadmap, the exact steps that you will need to take in order to achieve your goal. You can implement that on your own, but I will also offer my help implementing it through my mentorship. But then you decide whether you want to work with me, yes or no. And this, I find, is a very low friction way of selling. Like, I don't want to work with someone who isn't 100% sure. I'm not going to handle the objections. I'm not going to like force the sale or stuff like that. Like, I literally tell them, if I only want to work with you if you are 100% sure that you actually want to do this. If you're 99% sure, I don't want to work with you, because I didn't quit my 9 to 5 to do something else I don't like. So right now I've worked with 15 amazing clients, and I honestly see them as friends. And that only could have happened because I was hopping on calls, because I was getting the opportunities. So there, and the reason why networking is so important is because of the following. It is the formula for the networking is basically this. It is visibility plus credibility equals, I can't write this anywhere now. Let me do this a bit of differently. Those two equals opportunity. Visibility plus credibility equals opportunity. This is a formula that Sam, she is an amazing woman. I hopped on a call with her. I learned this directly from her. She is active on school as well. She is doing amazing. But this is basically my point, right? Because this formula that I'm going to share right now, I learned this from her. And I wouldn't have learned this if I didn't hop on a call with her, basically. So visibility plus credibility is opportunity. So that means that if you are visible somewhere, if you are actively commenting on posts, if you're actively engaging, if you're showing up to like community calls and stuff like that, and basically because like you won't, most people, their problem is that not enough people know who they are. And yeah, sure, you can make content, but that will take years to really build the visibility. But if you do networking, then you have it in your own hands. That is what you can control. Like literally the volume that you can do is in your own hands. So if you do a lot of volume, then you are visible. Second is credibility. You, like I said, you have to prove to someone that you can actually help them solve their problem. And you do that by just giving value. Because just like Alex Hormozi said, the one who gives the most gets the most. People will trust you with their money if you already prove them that you can help them solve their problems by giving value and making connections with them. If you already solved some of their problems for free, then if you offer your offer, for example, they will believe that you can help them. So visibility plus credibility is the opportunity. This is how you will assign clients. This is how you can work maybe for someone who's a few steps ahead of you and learn incredibly much. Do you know how many jobs I got offered by people online? Like I literally just have to post online and people said, hey, I have this agency, do you want to work with me? Or I have this, or I have that, or I have this app, this AI app, would you want to be a part of it? I want to build my own brand, but still you get a lot of opportunities. I signed most of my clients through this formula basically. And this is, again, let me explain one last point of networking basically. So the most important thing with networking is that you start now. Because picture this, when the networking that you do, the connections that you build is like seeds. Every connection that you make is like planting a seed. For example, like when you comment on someone's post, when you send a DM, when you reach out to them, you're planting seeds. Eventually, what will happen is so first of all, you need to water them daily. You need to nurture the leads, you need to nurture the connection, so it needs to get water basically. Eventually, when you take care of the seeds and you water them, you nurture them on a consistent basis, then eventually it will start to turn into like a plant, for example. And here right now, okay, like a plant, it looks nice, but it's not really useful yet, right? But then also, like, if you hop on a call with someone, it is adding like fertilizer, because one call is more powerful than like 1,000 DMs or comments, because you can literally talk to someone. You see someone's personality, for example, and that builds a real strong connection. So when you're adding like fertilizer, I don't know how to draw it. This is like fertilizer, and you do it for long enough, then eventually it will turn into a tree. And the tree, if you still take care of them, you still like add fertilizer, for example, and you water them every day, you water those trees every day, eventually it will give you fruits, like apples, for example. Or this might be other fruits like bananas or something, but these are the opportunities. So when it is still a seed or when it is a plant, you are not really sure what will come out of it. That is why most people try to avoid networking, because the return of investment is really unsure. They don't know what they will get out of it. But one thing is for sure, that if you focus on planting a lot of seeds and you nurture them consistently and you hop on calls with them, then something will come out of it. Whether that are bananas or like pears or apples or whatever, you don't know, but something will come out of it. The question is what, and most of the time it is way better than you would ever imagine. Way better. And this is the last thing I want to say about networking, because I told you that the networking, you have to start now. Why? Because imagine if you're very hungry. Imagine if you're very hungry and you don't have any food available to you. If you then start to plant seeds, then it doesn't work, because it takes a lot of time to develop it into a tree and to get like actually the apples that you can eat. So you will literally like starve to death. So you have to build your network before you need it, because once you need it and then you want to start building your network, then it is already too late. So start now. You will learn a lot. You will gather data which you can make an offer around, and you will get a lot of opportunities. And this is how you can eventually quit your job and do this full time. And yeah, like then once you do this full time, then you can focus on YouTube, because that is the long-term approach. Short-term approach is networking. So yeah, bye.